Hey guys, just checking I'm live on YouTube. Yep, looks like I'm live on Facebook and YouTube. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS here, back with another video, and I decided today to divert away from my... Let's just see that couple. Anyway, I decided to divert away from my original intentions for this month. I think for today I'm going to talk about, as much as I can, about my plans for my birthday, my next birthday in 9 months' time. So I thought symbolically, obviously a baby normally takes 9 months to be born, so I thought my silly little pattern and symbology and whatever, I thought I'd talk about what I hope to happen on my birthday. And I've talked about that before, hence I put updated in, what do you call it, with asterisks next to it or whatever. I was thinking my mum's gone out finally, and I was like, even before that, I was like, I can't wait till they go out, because I thought sometimes having the house to yourself is just, most of the time, it's so peaceful, and sometimes I think less people, less problems, except for the people who watch my videos, who are awesome, of course. But sometimes I do think just having that peace and quiet. I think it's a balance as well. I think if I was on my own all the time, after a while I would get lonely and bored and that kind of thing. But if you got things occupied, if you're not bored, you probably won't be lonely as well, because you'll have things that occupy your mind. But yeah, I was going to do this week. I was going to do Black Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. Sorry. But I decided to divert for these next 2 days. So tomorrow I want to talk about Napoli and my dreams for Napoli, Napoli FC, or SSC Napoli, give them their official title. So yeah, today I thought I'd talk a bit about why I dreamed to do on my birthday, but it's been a bit of a nightmare, because one, I've been watching too much YouTube, two, my mum's been distracting me a bit, and three, I woke up with like really sore eyes. I couldn't sleep. I kept getting scared of this spider, and I kept trying to get my cat to lie me, but I thought even so, if the spider goes under the blanket, I don't know I'm going to sleep tonight either. But I had to try and push myself, but I just couldn't sleep, and my eyes are killing me. So they got better now. They got a bit worse again, but got about 11 o'clock anyway. So yeah, this is a plan of my updated birthday wish list, shopping list for my birthday or whatever. The cleaner version for Facebook and family friendly version or whatever. So here goes, as usual. These are pointers number 1 to 10. Normally I go for my granddad now about 5 o'clock, but I'm going to go for a shower, because I agreed rather foolishly to go. I was going to go as a volunteer for this thing where they're doing something to do with jacket potatoes, which are my least favourite potatoes. Normally I love potatoes, but jacket potatoes are about my least favourite, but I agreed to go for it for some reason. And yeah, that's at 6 o'clock, so by the time I have my shower I'll be about ready, hopefully just about on time. I might be running a bit late for that, but anyway, nice life story. Basically, you're supposed to pay a fiver and it goes towards charity and all that kind of thing, but I don't have any money on me, and normally I don't keep money on me and that kind of thing, and I said I'm a bit broke, but they kind of let me off, and they said, as it's at a church, they said go and all that kind of thing, but I'll try and pay them back when I can, I guess, hopefully. Do me a favor, but yeah, anyway, again, nice life story. But these are pointers number to 10. I hope I get 2, 3, and 4 done. I was gonna type up my ideas on a group chat on Facebook called My Honest Plans Ahead for the Future, but I decided to do this instead. But here goes. And also I was going to do Black Saturdays, or Black Saturdays, as I sometimes call it, Saturdays for Saturday, like as in tired, or whatever, quirky ways. But I decided to do this instead. But here goes. So number 1, I'd love to finally get my plans and projects started like 4 years later than, well, initially I wanted to get them done ages ago, but they would have been a for-profit. Now I've been thinking about this idea, MKS Enterprises. I think about it quite a lot, and I wish ideally I would have started up on my 40th birthday, as often said in the past, like life begins at 40, life starts at 40, as they say. I'll say start, my little patterns again, but I'd love to start and set up MKS Enterprises. I'm probably overcomplicating a little bit, because I kind of want to register it in all the, what I call the 6, and all those countries would be all the countries within Africa, as well as register it for the benefit of Aboriginals, Torres and Strait Pacific Islanders and Maoris and native people from across the Americas, and also Asia, and also Latin American countries, and also Ireland, somehow to support entrepreneurship in all those places, those nations and places and whatnot, countries or whatever term you want to use, that entire continent and that kind of thing. But symbolically, part of me would love to set it up in South Africa, and for it to be set up with the explicit goal of encouraging entrepreneurship, enterprise, or whatever you want to call it, business, enterprise, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and that kind of thing across all of those places I just talked about. But due to South Africa going through apartheid, part of me would love to register it there on my 44th birthday. I think of this theme of like forgiveness, because like forgiveness, as well. I don't know why I mentioned that, but forgiving myself for messing up and not doing as well as I like, and forgiving God for things that I think I wish were different in life or whatever, if that's relevant and controversial one. But yeah, I love to support startups and that kind of thing, including black-owned startups, Native American startups, and whatnot. Also, I hope God forgives me for my sins and all that kind of thing, or bad things I've done. Maybe for not putting in as much effort as I should, and not, I don't know, whatever it is that I might have done bad. I know I don't like to work hard, but for giving up on things, I guess, and that kind of as well, or whatever I've done bad in, whatever I might have done bad in my whole life. But a new beginning as well is another thing I think of. But yeah, 4 years later than planned. But I'd love to start MKS Enterprise if I can. I'm being very pedantic or idealistic or whatever the best word is, pedantic if that's the right word for it, and I suppose idealistic, I suppose that's kind of the same thing, just so and all that kind of thing, because it would be good if it would be great, excellent, brilliant and excellent, even awesome, excellent, whatever adjective you want to use or whatever, if it was set up on my birthday, because then it could be like my birthday and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it would be to set up to support entrepreneurship then, and I would want my wage or take home pay, salary or whatever, just to be like the equivalent of, well, basically minimum wage in Britain, obviously, just for me to have enough to live on. But yeah, I'd love to get things started, start plans and projects. I don't really celebrate birthdays, really, because I'm just getting older and disappointed. I'm good about turning older. And I'm quite the pessimist, unfortunately. I wish I was an optimist and a positive person about life, as I said before. But yeah, I mean, if people gave me money for my birthday or chocolate or certain things, I kind of still appreciate those things, but I don't really celebrate my birthday as such. Although if I set up MKS Enterprises, maybe I'd start celebrating and say a positive thing about turning older. One positive thing I think about turning older is you learn more things. Like I think I've developed a lot of empathy, sympathy, compassion, and that kind of thing as I got older. But moving on that note, number 2. So I think about things I've learned and what I like to continue to learn, whatever, and what I can pass on to younger people. My least favorite saying I often say is like, respect your elders, because my least favorite saying is respect your elders, because I think like instead the elders should lead by example, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of saying respect your elders and all that kind of thing, and yeah, so saying respect your elders and that kind of thing, and so yeah, but I think the elders instead should lead by example and show what they can do, and I think you should respect those who respect you and that kind of thing, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of like respect your elders and that kind of thing, as I say, and but yeah, I think the elders should lead by example and pass on what they know, their experiences and knowledge and things like that, to the younger generations and whatnot. But yeah, I think one good advantage of turning older, there's not many, but learning experiences and learning things is really good. But yeah, one thing when I was younger, I can think of it as well, is like how I used to think you could set up a business today and make money tomorrow or whatever, and it takes a lot of time. That's one thing I've learned in life. it takes time to make money. It doesn't just happen. So hopefully that's something I'd work on with MKS Enterprises, like I call it MKS Enterprises, and in brackets I put brand / team or whatever, whichever order, and I put TM, like trademark, because I'd love for it to work like a brand, a team, and a brand, a team, and a trademark, and that kind of thing. So, sorry, but yeah. So I'd say I'd love to create MKS Enterprises, and that kind of thing. This is really embarrassing because I do my videos live. I can't believe this, but talk about timing. But I'm going to open the door for one minute, and then I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. It's one disadvantage in what it's like. Yeah. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Sorry, guys. I thought for a while I was like a guest, but I was like, I thought I don't know what I'm going to do there. But anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, I know people say I should do live recorded, but I like doing them live and all that kind of thing. But I mean pre-recorded, but I like doing them live. But yeah, as I say, thinking about things I've learned and passing on that information and encouraging people to go and teach and train people across Africa and that kind of thing. And those other places I talked about, like helping people in developing nations, basically. Maybe POC could go and teach minorities and whatnot, could go and teach people in Africa and Asia about business, and those places I talked about as well. But yeah, business takes time to grow. It's one thing I've learned. I think, unfortunately, I'm very impatient. I love contrarian thinking, and I was thinking like, patience is a virtue. I like to say impatience is a virtue, but at the same time, well, you could say patience is a virtue that I don't possess, but whatever a virtue means. But I talk about the financial guru Robert Kiyosaki, and he talks about like how he goes, one of the key differences is that I'm patient, but I suppose you could say be impatient with your actions and patient with your results. But I'm kind of the opposite, unfortunately. But yeah, I hope to think about all the things I've learned from the motivational videos I've watched and all that kind of thing. And again, I'd love for my take-home salary or wage or whatever to be like minimum wage. I'd be quite happy with that. But helping those entrepreneurs in developing nations and that kind of thing. Number 3, there's certain things I would do if I was fully free, but I won't go into that. You probably can guess what they are. But ideally, I wouldn't. I don't really want. I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't really want a job, and I don't want to steal or break the law to make money. I don't want to do anything illegal, and I don't want to. And I don't want to be on benefits anymore or whatever, because I don't really want to force the taxpayer to give money. So, as a libertarian, I want to find ways. Personally, I'd love to find ways which are easy and which are easy, and as long as they're legal and they don't take away people's freedoms to make money. So like that's what I want to do with my YouTube channel. That's what I want to do with that's what I want to do with my YouTube channel. That's what I want to do with my that's what I want to do with MKS Enterprises, or actually for MKS for Books Online, which is part of that. Or ideally will be part of that and that kind of thing. I'd love to make my own publishing group and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd love to at least register and start MKS Enterprise with the intent of supporting entrepreneurship in developing nations and that kind of thing, former colonies, developing nations and that kind of thing, and promote libertarianism on my birthday and that kind of thing. I'd love to be able to use my birthday to promote libertarianism and get like free funding. In the past, I thought like when I was entrepreneurial, I thought, what if everyone I know gave me like a $5 or a $10 each? But there were thousands of people, and I could put that money into like investing in property or businesses generally or whatever. I mean, something used to say to me like when I wrote these ideas down, he always used to tell me to get my head out the clouds and that kind of thing. But he used to say like something he wrote once, like the tax man gets 50%. I mean, if that's the case, then why would you do anything? I guess if you're worried about the tax man getting, ideally I'd love to have like tax-free wealth or whatever. In fact, well, I wouldn't have enough money anyway. one of the reasons why I would love to earn just enough before you have to pay taxes, because like I'd say the tax I wouldn't want to pay taxes towards militarism, wars, weapons trade, and things like that. So I'd only want to. So I'd give my money away to these sorts of causes. But yeah, if I only had a salary of like minimum wage or whatever, then hopefully be untaxed, so I don't have to pay towards things I don't agree with. But instead I'd be charitable, and I love to promote, as a libertarian, I love to promote privatization and deregulation of industries, lower taxes and things like that. I know, again, talking about Robert Kiyosaki, some of his team members talk about, like Tom Wheelwright, or whatever his name is, or Ken Merkel, I talk about tax-free wealth. I think it's Tom Wheelwright who talks about that. But looking at the tax system, you can find there's ways to cut money on your taxes. But I'd love to be as free as a living thing can be. I know it's a bit of a pessimistic thing again, but I say the only complete freedom to me is like non-existence, because then you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, and you don't really care about anything or whatever. So you're free from cares or having to do anything or whatever. I guess you wouldn't be able to, well, I guess you wouldn't really care if you couldn't do whatever you wanted. But moving on, number 4, I'd love to promote peace projects. Number 5, on that note, I'd love to promote, I'd love to use my birthday to promote, as I said in point before, like right to resist, tackling forced conscription and things like that. And that kind of thing. But I'd love to promote my 5 causes. I'd love to be able to use my birthday and other special occasions to talk about like I was going to say tax exemptions, to talk about sorry, that's going to be cold now, but to talk about like I'd love to use my birthday to fundraise for my causes, my 5 causes, which I've mentioned, which are benefiting Italian football, benefiting Celtic, libertarianism, or in Greek, like Celtic, libertarianism, like libertarian parties and that kind of thing, supporting people from former colonies, as what MKS Enterprise would do, and tackling poverty and alleviating suffering and that kind of thing. So yeah, supporting those 5 causes. I'd love for people to support, and organisations and businesses to invest in and fund and support those causes as much as possible. So yeah, if I can use my birthday to drum up support for those things, or to get more money and funding and that kind of thing for charitable goals, and sometimes spend it on chocolates and sweets and things like that. So that's a few birthdays I had when I got some money. I spent it on like junk food and like Subway and things like that. But I would love to sometimes even say, like, for my birthday, for people to give donations to charity if they want to buy me instead of a present or whatever. I really appreciate that. But moving on, number 6. I guess birthdays are difficult when you turn older. It's not quite as enjoyable. But working as hard as necessary, I guess, and only as hard as necessary. And yeah, as I say, drumming up support for my 5 causes. And I'd love to see Italian teams winning. If I could have a birthday wish list, like in terms of like what I wish for God himself, life itself, to give me for my birthday, would be like Italian teams, like the national team and club teams winning, and until he's got to come through some qualifiers as well, like go through a playoff. So I'd love for us to win that playoff and then go to win the World Cup as a miracle. And also Italian teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, Roma, and others winning like trophies in Europe and that kind of thing, having the best. I'd love to bring in the best possible managers, coaches, players, directors of football, dietitians and whatnot to Italian football. Number 7, same sort of thing for Celtic. And also I'd love to build robots. I was going to say, like, sometimes, I don't know if I should say this, but less people, less problems. As I read somewhere once on a meme, like, I can't go outside, it's too peoply out there. And one of my sisters said to me, probably an autistic person who wrote that, but I think it's just a joke, but it could be autistic sort of thing. Beth said, truth is said in jest or whatever, but I know autistics are not, of course, I know autistics are, of course, infamous for their humour, but yeah, I love to benefit, as I say, Italian teams and Celtic, and I jokingly say, like, an alien invasion and to recall robots could not make things any worse. Famous last words. But yeah, I think robots, I mean, I fear they could be the worst invention, but I think they could be the best invention. In fact, I know they could be if they were done right. The only problem with tech is it can malfunction, unfortunately. I always have to put it down wrong, but tech could be like something that's like robots. I mean, could be something that does our crappy jobs, so we can be free to do things we like to do. Number 8, people to support my social media content like my Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and that. Well, I don't have a TikTok, but maybe create my own TikTok account. Maybe that's something I'll do for my birthday. I'd look into it as well, or maybe before then, actually. Like part of me was thinking that I was saying about being idealistic, antric, or pedantic, if that's the right word, about making or creating, setting up like the MKS Enterprises, which would be a not-for-profit, I guess you could say, on my birthday. But a part of me thinks like, imagine someone saying, "What if it was done before?" Or if necessary, maybe after. But ideally, I would love for it to be registered on my birthday, set up on my birthday. So I suppose I should plan ahead for it, but I'd love for it to actually be registered on that day with the intent of supporting startups and entrepreneurship, networking together, getting developing nations and former colonies to put aside their differences, look at what they have in common, and network together for each other's good, and that kind of thing. So I wish I was more of an optimist and a positive person as well. I'd say. Number 9, I'd love to be able to write when and wherever possible, wherever I have permission. I suppose I could have said point number 8, like having my own creative rooms. Again, it would be cool if it was even before my birthday, because I'm not the most patient. Having to wait for 9 months would be a long time. Imagine how mums must feel. I was going to make it personal, so imagine how my mum must have felt, and still having put up with me for 44 years. Poor mum. She's a pain in the neck, but she does deserve a medal for putting up with me. I'm probably even a bigger pain, to be fair, somehow. But I said when and wherever I have permission to write, and I'd love to have my own creative rooms to do writing and making videos and stuff like that. And number 10, I'd love to support young people. And again, like for my birthday and any other special occasions like Christmas, I'd love for people to make donations to charity on my name, in my honour, which would mean that could be my present. Like I say, I'm not really that much into material things. A lot of people like buy me what they call smellies, like deodorants and things like that. I think they just try to tell me something. Shampoo's probably kind of pointless, but not really. I do have some here, but not much of it. But yeah, like donating to the Rare Gems and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd love to be able to write as much as possible, make as many videos as possible, and that kind of thing. Or maybe I shouldn't overdo it, but on that note, I'm going to go for my shower and get ready, and I'm out. And peace out. Nice night,